Some of you have been taught that if something is hard, you're supposed to stay. That if you can endure it, it must be God. That leaving means you didn't pray enough or try hard enough. But strength alone is not a calling. Just because you can handle something doesn't mean God told you to stay there. There's a difference between obedience and endurance. Obedience responds to God's direction, and endurance responds to pressure. Sometimes God does call us to endure, yes, but sometimes we stay simply because we're capable, not because we're instructed. And that's where the confusion begins. You can stay busy and still be misaligned. You can keep functioning while slowly losing clarity. You can look faithful on the outside and still feel unsettled on the inside. That unsettled feeling isn't always weakness, sometimes it's discernment. Peace matters, and yes, peace can be a reward, but peace is also confirmation. It shows up when something lines up with God's direction, not just when something ends. So if staying somewhere requires you to ignore your convictions, your questions, or constantly explaining away discomfort, that's not always faith. That's tolerance. And God doesn't grow people by numbing their discernment. Scripture says, if anyone lacks wisdom, ask God, not because endurance is wrong, but because wisdom tells you when to endure and when to move differently. Wisdom gives direction, not just stamina. This isn't permission to quit everything that's hard. This is permission to stop confusing pressure with purpose. God doesn't need you confused to be obedient. He doesn't need you shrinking your clarity to prove your faith. Sometimes obedience looks like staying, and sometimes obedience looks like listening when it's time to shift. So pay attention to what you've been calling strength. It might just be the grace to make a more clear decision. All right, family, if this encouraged you today, do me a favor and drop a comment. Share this with someone who needs to hear it, and make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss the next one. Until then, keep your head up, your hands up, and let it resonate.